Hey everybody, it is July 31st, 2020, 10 p.m. here in Michigan. This is actually something that I heard over the radio on my way home from my doctor's downstate. And I tried to make a video on the way home, and every time I would upload it, YouTube would literally either take the sound or they would just pause the video. It was crazy. They would not let me post it, while I was trying to do it on my phone. But listen to this. It says, could it pay to quarantine? LA weighs giving people with CV19 cash to stay home. Yeah, you heard that. Cash to stay home. How many more things are they going to offer you money for? The flu shot, the testing, blood drives, all this. They're offering you money now. Anytime the government offers you money for you to take something like this, or you need to definitely pay attention. All right, let's read this. It says, not everyone can afford to take a sick day, much less spend a week or more in quarantine. And that's a real problem in a pandemic for them, their family, and their community, according to Los Angeles City Council member David Rau. He introduced a possible solution Wednesday, a wage replacement measure meant to slow the virus spread by putting money in the pockets of those who couldn't otherwise afford to miss work. Okay, two things. On the radio, they said the ones that they really are, targeting on this are your low income and your poor areas, families, etc., because they said that those areas are getting hit harder. And the only way to combat the spread of the virus in those, low income areas and poor neighborhoods is to do something like this, a wage replacement measure. So they are willing to pay you. If you are positive, they will pay you if you will go to a facility in quarantine. This is just crazy. It says, like much of the country, California is struggling to rein in the CV as it spreads. And as long as the sick are clocking in instead of staying home, it won't be corralled. The only way out of this crisis is through increased testing and staying home if you're sick. But you can't do that if you can't afford to lose a paycheck or you can't receive federal aid. Well, maybe if you would have worked on a stimulus plan, in the past 6 months, instead of doing one-time payment in April and now you're going to give another one-time payment in August, and now you think this was the better option instead of just taking care of what you should have been taking care of, instead of taking multiple vacations, which they're about to go on again. So if they don't get it done here in the next day or two, they're going to go on vacation again, and then God knows when the stimulus will actually, get to the people. So these are the ways they're going to do it. They've continued to back people in a corner. When you push people against the wall when they need to feed their kids, they're going to do risky things like this, like donating plasma when they're paying you to do that, or this type of thing right here where they're going to pay you to quarantine. Oh man, that is just, that is just screaming at me. That's why would anybody do that? You really would put yourself in that position? Oh man, but when they have people that broke and that hurting, that's kind of what happens. It says, too many Angelenos are being forced into an impossible choice. If we want to bend the curve, we need to make it possible for everyone to stay home when they're sick, no matter their income or immigration status. Under the Act, $25 million would be set aside to cushion working people who have tested positive for CV19, providing 2 weeks of compensation. So you're going to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. They say, oh, look, we'll pay you for 2 weeks, come into this quarantine. You wonder if it's going to get extended? Do you think that if you go in there and things continue the way that they are, where they're ramping everything up, that they're not maybe going to throw at you and say, oh, sorry, it can't be 2 weeks, now it's 4 weeks. Sorry, you can't leave. It says housing status, immigration status, and criminal history would all be irrelevant. Irrelevant. I was so expecting that to say it would be relevant. So they don't even care about your criminal history. This is just, they're letting inmates out of prison, out of jail. Oh man, yeah, this world's upside down right now. But applicants must agree to quarantine and cooperate with contact tracers. That's terrifying right there. That's it. That's Oh, it says, with a temporary $600 boost in unemployment aid from the CARES Act expiring on July 31st, millions of Americans will be in tighter financial straits. That includes 830,000 LA residents. ABC7 reported, and elected leaders of the health officials are worried. Of course, they're always worried. They're always pushing fear and telling you that they're so worried. Yet, the percentage of what we're dealing with these deaths is so low. It's just pure insanity to think that they continue to push this narrative that it's spreading so bad, yet all the deaths have continued to drop for 12 weeks in a row, at least up until about 5 days ago when I did that video on it. They may be going up now, but they had repeatedly gone down for 12 consecutive weeks. That's why they changed it over to cases. You remember at the beginning, they continued to count the deaths. They had a ticker running all day long, the deaths. And that's all they talked about. Well, now that the deaths aren't going anywhere that are even, where they even would matter, you're talking 150,000 people in 7 months. 330 plus million people in the United States, and we've had our entire worlds shut down for 150,000 people. Over 7 months, too. Oh, man. It says no local community has enough money to pick up the pieces, but here in California, we're looking at how can we stretch out the unemployment benefits. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti said, "This is really Washington's responsibility. If they don't step up, we'll do everything we can, but it's pretty dangerous." Yeah, what's dangerous about it? What you're going to do to us? Another council member, Nuri Martinez, brought up a separate plan calling for $50 million to support low-income families with basic needs like food and rent. Martinez proposal modeled after a San Francisco program that helps poor Latinos stay home if infected to the CV. That is the crazy thing. How many times are they going to continue to push the same narrative? Remember, they did this with the homeless. Oh, we'll take care of them. We'll get them a new trailer. All this. It's the same thing. They are not there to help you. Says, while Latinos are dying at twice the rate of white Angelenos in LA County from CV19, many of the safeguards meant to assist, including federal relief, are not reaching poor immigrant Latinos and others, who often work as essential workers or simply do not have medical insurance or paid leave and cannot afford to stay home. Both Rue's plan and Martinez's plan would provide undocumented immigrants a demographic left out of the federal CARES Act. See? This is all they're ever worrying about. They continue to say, they're battling back and forth because they can't agree on the $600 for unemployment. No, there's so many other things that they're actually doing like this. That's what they're actually debating. But we're going to cut this right here. Okay, it was a long day today. I've been going since about 5:30 this morning, all the way down, and everything went good at my doctor. So, that was really good. That was my 6-month checkup, and it's really, really good to get a good report, especially when it has to do with my heart. So now doesn't look like I'm gonna have to go back, anytime soon, and I will definitely not be volunteering to go anytime soon. So we will just stay away from all doctors' offices or all hospitals at all costs right now. Thank you all. Continue to pray against this evil. They are definitely latching in on us. Continue to watch hurricane that's coming up the coast. Like I said in the video I just did on it, the update. It is like somebody is steering it, just driving it with the steering wheel perfectly up the coast. It's like it's on rails, like a train. They just have it perfectly lined up to go right up. And of course, right now it's not supposed to be super strong. But even if it's a tropical storm, that's 70, around 70 mile per hour winds all the way up there. Torrential rain. And we all know time, happened to blow up overnight. Bombogenesis when they just, from a Cat 1 to a Cat 5, overnight. So please pay attention to that as well. You all have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.